A growing number of Gen Z Americans are living at home even after they graduate from college. According to a Business Insider report, parents are financially supporting their adult children well into their 20s in this tough economy. Only 16% of people between the ages of 18 to 24 say that they are completely financially independent. Many younger Americans are living at home as they grapple with high housing costs, heavy student debt, and inflation. But not all of their parents are happy about it. Eve Upton Clark wrote that piece. She joined.
Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the issue of adults living at home. Now, I've always found this kind of strange because I did not grow up in America, but the concept of, like kicking out your child at 18 or sending them to college and then they never come back, for me it was strange because in my culture, people used to live with their parents until they were ready to move out. It could be at 25, some even stayed up to 30 years old. But I find it that in America, it is not common. So there are countries that this is the norm, like in many, many cultures, even like in Italy, which we're going to go to. Actual Italy this time, not Rhode Island or New Jersey in America. No, we're going to go to actual Italy in this next clip to see how an adult is living at home with their parents. So let's just go to this clip. Before we go and continue, please consider liking and subscribing so that we can grow this channel. And let's go to Italia.
Federico has never left his teenage bedroom, as this 30-year-old young man from Sicily is still living with his parents. Because, like thousands of young Italians, Federico is struggling to find stable employment.
Trovare sicuramente un lavoro a tempo indeterminato è quasi un'utopia, perché molti ti offrono un lavoro che sia in nero, che sia poco retribuito, con le scarse possibilità di avere un contratto. Le difficoltà sono tante a trovare una stabilità sia economica o anche il fatto di potersi creare una famiglia, un futuro.
Without knowing what the future holds, it is impossible for Federico to leave home.
Ciao mamma!
Given that he's unemployed, the only alternative is to ask for support from his parents, his father who's retired and his mother who's a teacher.
Noi ci sostituiamo all'aiuto che dovrebbe dare lo Stato. Quando i ragazzi non lavorano, ancora oggi sono i genitori che intervengono, almeno da noi è così. Se mio figlio ha bisogno io mi metto a disposizione, sia io che mia moglie. Non è che l'abbandoniamo assolutamente.
Federico's situation is not unusual in Italy, where more than 8 million young people in their 30s still live with their parents due to lack of financial stability. According to Eurostat, in Sicily, 51% of young adults are unemployed, one of the highest figures in Europe. And yet, certain businesses struggle to find workers. A paradoxical reality that Gianluca Ribaudo, the manager of this recruitment agency in Palermo, knows well.
Arrivano molte offerte dal settore della ristorazione, dell'assistenza agli anziani. Spesso noi ci troviamo a dover gestire delle difficoltà, delle retrosie da parte dei ragazzi perché o hanno difficoltà ad accettare gli orari di lavoro, oppure ritengono troppo umili le mansioni, non sono pronti a fare, tra virgolette, dei sacrifici.
Some find that these sacrifices are too big, even to be able to achieve financial independence.
Si va di casa molto più tardi. Due fattori che viaggiano di pari passo: da un lato le entrate economiche, dall'altro la volontà.
Di vivere da solo, insomma, di non avere nessun tipo di comfort dei genitori, una pacca sulle spalle.
Okay, so that was Italy, the real Italy, not Rhode Island, not New Jersey. That was the actual Italy. And you see in Italy some, many families, they still, keep their adult children for a while. In that case, the people are saying they're choosy, that they're picky when it comes to jobs. They're saying they can't do certain jobs. But is that really the reason? Now, with the current economy, most likely reasons is the financial reasons, especially let's say here in America and in other countries. The finances is not there, and many would say it is not really nice to send your kid out at 18 to start suffering, building debt, because at 18 you don't have really a stable job. At 18 you're going to start building debt, getting into credit card debts and everything, with the fallacy of independence. So which is the right way, really? That's the question. Do you keep your child until they're like 25 or whatever, until they're ready, they've saved enough, and then they go out? Or do you send them out immediately and then they might get into debt trying to survive out there? Whichever way you choose to do it, or whichever way you experienced it, please let me know in the comments. Now we're going to see an example in America. Now, another reason, actually, before we see this example, another reason why people will be living at home is, of course, they don't think about this, but taking care of the parents. Some people's parents are older and they don't have the money to send them to a retirement home, so they would rather just move in and take care of them. So it's a variety of reasons. So this is an old clip. It was in Denver, Colorado. So this person was being sued because he was not moving out at 30 years. Let's just watch the clip and let's see.
Right, so now to a dilemma facing many parents, grandparents, and children. When's the right time to move out?
A judge has ordered a 30-year-old man to leave his parents' home after an ongoing legal battle. And this is a case that's raising questions at a time when the cost of living makes getting your own place difficult.
So there are many sides to this, so that is why we asked Denver 7's Mark Stewart to go 360.
You've heard the phrase, home is where the heart is. But inside this house, the love has crumbled. This 30-year-old New York man ordered to leave the comfort of his mom and dad.
A 6-month notice to quit is a reasonable amount of time for someone who has been depending on persons for support.
Among the parents' complaints, he doesn't help with expenses or chores. A dispute prompting discussion here in Denver's Highlands neighborhood.
Is there a right age for a child to move out of the house?
You know, I think it depends on each individual families, but we like the fact that our kids went to college and mostly didn't come back. Well, I hope they're not watching.
My thoughts on that is shame on him, because a man should be able to stand on his own 2 feet.
So here's the reality check. Walk through most neighborhoods and you'll find a growing number of grown adults living at home. If you look at the statistics, about 15% of millennials are now living with their parents. That's up 5% from Generation X. Let's face it, living in the Mile High isn't so economical. And with a mountain of student debt, having a place of your own isn't so simple.
Housing's expensive in Denver and everywhere else, so I can see it.
In some families, coming home comes with compromise.
So if you lived at home for more than a year, you had to pay her rent. So you could either pay a landlord or you could pay mom, and mom would continue to cook, but you had to help.
And we all know mom's cooking is going to be better than another night of noodles, right? But there's a flip side to all of this, a metaphor known as helicopter parenting, a phenomenon where parents smother their kids into adulthood.
It costs a lot to develop your own apartment and, buy a car and all those things.
Yet psychologist Sean Worthy notes it makes sense for parents to help, but sometimes that can hinder the future.
But the problem is that oftentimes the parents aren't really launching. The parents are supporting and encouraging dependence. And that's the thing that becomes worrisome.
So let's bring it back home.
I have my mother, myself, and my 10-year-old daughter, Grace.
Ben Duda's mom is now living with him.
Well, I'm helping her out and she's helping me out. It's a good good mesh.
Proof that no two families are the same.
Certainly there's an opportunity for families to live together again if it works for them.
Okay, so that was the situation, but that 30-year-old was a deadbeat. Basically, he was not helping out, he was not doing anything, so they had to take him to court. In my case, I left home when I was 20 years old, and I had to leave because I was moving abroad. So it was different for me. I figured out I could not, keep on living where I was living, and I had to go find a way for myself. That's why I left. So it is different for people. Some people stay, some people are lucky enough to have their parents until, adulthood who are willing to keep them. But others, you are forced by situations. So please, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share this on all the networks. I will see you.
Oh my goodness, all the networks! Wow! All the networks!